Hi students, I am Bazi from Maslow Dizzy Classroom. In this nature, every living being is a marvelous creation, and from a microbe to a giant animals or giant organisms, or from a tiny grass to a large trees, and all living beings, and among all living beings, especially a special creation, we human beings, all of us respond or reacts to situations. How organism reacts to a particular situation. Have a look on these organisms, how they respond to situations. Basically, the children playing with chicks or with birds or with dogs or cats or certain with caterpillars, tortoises, snails and different types of organisms around them. Special experience with touch me not plant, and these animals respond to light. As the first light of day, free range hens take a bath. Animals react to light starting day to groom, feed, explore, play and socialize. If they are living in the environment which allows them to do so. Any situation that makes organisms to respond is a stimulus, and the organism which reacting to a particular situation is a response. This response happens due to detection of sensitivity. What is this sensitivity? How they detect the sensitivity? Like us, all higher organisms in the nature have eyes to see, ears to hear, noses to smell and tongue to taste and skin to touch or feel, and sense organs which have special type of receptors to sense all the feelings around us. Sense organs and receptors of organisms are differ in their efficiency and capability with us and from the rest of other species. These senses are very peculiar. Some of their senses are more cute, some less, some just different. When comparing with human beings, when comparing with us, the sense organs in various animals are having lot of difference. For example, if you see the birds, especially the eagles or vultures, they are flying very heights and they will see any type of object from those heights. Especially these eagles or vultures can find the prey on the ground. Why? Because they have sharp sight with a panoramic view, but we doesn't have. If you observe why police people, they are using dogs in criminal investigation, but why? Because dogs have a special type of capability, that is sniffing. They have strong sniffing ability, but we doesn't have. If you observe in bats, they have extreme hearing capability when compared to human beings. We have the capacity about over 20,000 hertz of hearing ability, whereas the bats can hear over 1 lakh hertz frequency of sound. This is extreme hearing capacity we can observe in bats. Whereas if you see in a catfish, it has lot of taste buds when compared to human being. We have only 10,000 taste buds, but over 1,75,000 taste buds we can find in catfish, and also it is very sensitivity of touch. And all these sense organs, the sensitivity is differ in various types of organisms in their efficiency and capability when compared to us. Certain microbes and sea animals or respond to environmental factors and which we called as stimulus. We humans respond to different stimulus in our daily activities. We are doing number of activities in our daily life. Like you people or the children like you listening class very carefully, watching movies in a theater, playing games with your friends, writing exams in an examination hall, driving a sports car, quarreling with your friends or with your siblings like your brothers and sisters, enjoying the food during special occasions and playing music. Almost all the activities we experience and we react only by thinking. This ability lies in humans, makes us unique. This feature distinguishes from the rest of the creation, and this ability is known as the consciousness or intelligence. But if you observe certain actions like biting off an ant or any insect or any cuts, burns during firing or itching or sudden light fall on your eyes or hot utensil touched by chance, we respond immediately without any thinking, and it does not need any thinking. We immediately respond and react to those type of stimulus. All these responses are reflex actions. Is stimulus reason for learning? Let's see what happens. This woman feel hot, but she learned by experience how to cool the room. This hen dealing with excess heat. Is this a simple reflex response? Like a woman, this hen shows the learned response from heat. These cows demonstrating a learned response. They exposed to positive vigorous threat by opening umbrella. After opening umbrella again and again, they respond less and less. They come out of scary feeling and nothing to worry. And this is the one of the reflex actions and which are learned from the reflex action shown by all these things. The same thing is demonstrated by a famous Russian scientist, that is Ivan Pavlov. Pavlov is a noted Russian scientist and he got Nobel Prize in medicine and physiology in 1904, and he demonstrated this conditioned stimulus with an experiment with his dog. And see this.
Pavlov tried a new technique. He erected screens so that the dogs couldn't see what was going on. Before passing meat through the hatch, he introduced a stimulus that was totally unrelated to feeding. A ticking metronome. At first, the dog dripped saliva into its cheek tube only when the food appeared. But after a number of trials, the dog began to connect the ticking with the arrival of meat. Soon, the sound alone made the dog drool. Eventually, the dog salivated as much to the ticking itself as it did originally to the presentation of food.
Полная! Идите сюда. Что я говорил?
He called this new response the conditioned reflex. Pavlov believed that he had discovered how animals learned, even in the wild.
By this dog experiments proved that learning is a change in behavior, and which we learn from a repeated situations happens in our life. Not only this dog, even human beings, every organism, even plant, almost all the living organisms, they will learn from the situations of a conditioned stimulus. You know, this is changing from individual to individual, depends on their experience, and all these things are not reflex actions, they are learned actions. A reflex action to stimulate, like this sudden noise, is normal in same as all members of different species. All it happens in higher animals because they have different types of sense organs to receive the stimulus. In fact, we do any activity knowingly or unknowingly. It involves the movement, balance, coordination together to perform the action. What triggers us to do activities? If you are in the playground playing cricket, imagine you are in the batting position like a famous batsman. The bowler bowling the ball. Then you hit that ball hardly. Wow, it's sixer. Is it possible without coordination of your sight,
And he's cleared it comfortably
your
when
thought,
he needed 12 or 4 balls.
and your skeletal and muscular energy to respond within time? If such coordination misses, what happens? You may bowl, or the ball may bounce on you. Definitely you will try to escape from the damage. What trigger you to do the action? Here, bowling is an input of stimulus. Hard hitting of ball is a response. It's a voluntary action by coordination of your thought, sight, and muscular and skeletal activity. Or if the ball misses, you can try to escape immediately from that ball. It's an involuntary action of your body. Like in the above example, biting of an ant or insect or a mosquito, or cuts by sharp object, firing during Diwali or festivals, or itching in a classroom, or sudden light fall, hard body touched by a chance, we respond without thinking. And these are external involuntary actions. In our body also, certain activities are involuntary, and those activities are like respiration, excretion, digestion, like heartbeat, that is circulation of blood throughout the body. Almost all these activities are involuntary activities within our body. Planned or learned activities like listening class carefully, watching a movie in a theater, writing exam in an examination hall, playing games with your friends, quarreling with your friends or siblings, enjoying food during special occasions, and playing music. Almost all these activities are voluntary activities because we learn and we think and we do. The living body responds to stimulus. If the living body responds to heat or a light or a water or a wind and different types of conditions of the nature, we call it as external stimulus. The internal stimulus occur within the body of an organism like hunger, thirst, pain, pleasure, or different types of emotions. We call it as internal stimulus or internal response. The internal response is due to enzymes, nervous system, or hormones, etc., which function together to perform the activity within the body. In all living organisms, the control and coordination of entire body is enabled by a special type of cells called as nerve cells. That system we call it as nervous system. Like higher animals, the plants also respond to certain stimulus, and you can see these stimulus how everybody has experience with a special plant, touch me not. Whenever you touch the plant, what happens? It automatically folds, it leaflets immediately, and it immediately responds to a stimulus of touch, and it is highly sensitive. Scientifically we call it as mimosa pudica. The base of the leaf, where it consisting of a special type of fluid filled sac, is present. Whenever you touch that plant, what happens, then an electrical impulse generated, and which trigger to immediately releasing of an hormone. That hormones controls the fluid present in that sac, and the fluid which is present in the base of that sac moves opposite direction of that leaflet, and what happens? The gap is formed. Automatically the leaflets are closing itself. After 20 to 30 minutes, the fluid will reach again to that sac, and that sac will fill and the plant become normal. And this is one of the condition we can observe in touch me not plant, and the process is going on due to activity of internal hormones present in that plant. Like mimosa or touch me not plant, all plants have special type of response to different types of stimulus in the environment. You know, if you see in plants, basically they are growing in various conditions. The plants are response to forces and they behave according to those forces, and we call it as tropism. If you observe in seeds, if you sow the seed in a pot, always the shoot grows upward side, whereas roots grows downward direction. It doesn't matter in what position you sow the seed, it grows in right way. Is it seed knows the direction? Suppose you have a seedling in a pot and turn it upside down, then stem will take U-turn to grow and roots are taking downward direction to grow. And how the seed knows? That means seed have sensitivity to gravity, and seed senses the gravity. They are respond to gravity called as geotropism. If they respond to light called as phototropism, and if they respond to water, that is hydrotropism, and if they respond to temperature, that is thermotropism, and if they respond to chemicals, that is chemotropism. The plants may be away from those responses or it may be towards to those responses. If they are away from, we call it as negative tropism. If they towards, they call it as positive tropism. In this example, if you sow the seed and turns the pot upside down, what happens? The stem taken U-turn, whereas the roots taken the downward direction. It means always the shoot shows negative geotropism and positive phototropism, whereas root shows negative phototropism and positive geotropism. In the same manner, if you take the plants, especially during pollination, the pollen grain, the tube is entering into the ovule, is a symbol of a chemotropism. How it happens and how they are respond to a particular stimulus in the nature? This is due to the regulated movements of plants having a special type of hormones called as auxins. They concentrated in the tips of the roots as well as in the shoot, and they regulate the growth of the plant according to their stimulus. Here we observe number of environmental factors which act as a stimulus for a plant, like heat, water, pressure, temperature, wind, different types of factors. And due to these external factors, the growth hormones are different types of hormones present in plant which regulates and its response according to the stimuli. These factors may change or influence the growth and development of a plant in various types of conditions. It may lead to adaptation or evolution of a new species. These adaptations not only we observe in plants but also in all the organisms on this planet. Like plants, in all organisms, especially in higher organisms like us and different types of animals which respond to stimuli due to presence of special type of system, that is nervous system, and also another system that is endocrine system. Together they form into neuroendocrine system which coordinate all the functions and activities of our body for a stimulus. And this nervous system, which consisting of a special type of cell, that is neuron, which carry messages from outside and to the inside, from the inside to the outside, and this type of carrying of information, processing, receiving, sending, everything is due to coordination of this nervous system with endocrine system which perform the action, and it is the reason for surviving of an organism on this planet. Now we understand how an organism is responding for a situation and how all the plants and animals and different types of higher organisms responding to a particular situations, and this response to stimuli is carried through special type of system, that is nervous system, we can understand in next conversation, and we can find out in detail about nervous system. Okay students, bye bye.